Alright, so today's video I'll be reading to help me speak better. I'm putting 15 minutes on the clock. You can see I just started the book. Alright, let's begin, shall we? 3, 2, 1, let's go. 15 minutes, let's do it. A note to readers. This is a work of satirical fiction that could be described as a dark comedy combined with social commentary. In no way do the descriptions of the characters reflect my personal feelings or beliefs in regards to those of African descent, particularly black women. The stereotypes employed in the book are deliberate in that I attempt to cast a light on the state of contemporary urban pulp fiction. Enjoy. Quan Mills. Chapter 1. All these fucking roaches and shit. God motherfucking damn it. Fred Quisha's murderous gaze was laser focused onto 5 black brownish roaches, all ranging in sizes. And a bitch ain't got time for this shit today. I'm hungry and a bitch need to get her pussy ate. The agitated Section 8 strat continued to nag. The biggest roach, Daddy Roach Sr., embarked on a dangerous journey to lead his family to a mecca of stale food. His wings lightly flapped. He used his long, wise antennas to lead his loyal wife of 32 days, there to well-trained teenage sons and their precious baby daughter towards the distant smell of decaying Domino's, pepperoni, and sausage pizza crust hiding away in a dark corner of Fred Quisha's messy apartment living room. Every third Friday of the month, when them food stamps hit her EBT card, Fred Quisha usually treated her 3 kids to greasy pizza, saucy buffalo wings, and Cinestacks. The pizza fiesta was sort of like a food stamp renewal day of celebration. Truth be told though, the pizza was also a way to get them motherfucking kids temporarily off her flabby, tatted back. Fred Quisha hated to have to spend her weekends watching her badass kids, especially when she needed to get ate out and dicked down by some local Chirac savage. Only God knows why she was so annoyed watching them. Ain't like the bitch had a job where her weekends were invaluable, deserving precious relief from a hard week of work. Every day was a fucking weekend for this hoe. Anyways, this particular Crust Daddy Roach Sr. scented had been nestled away for weeks, shit, possibly months, out of the purview of other vermin living in the grimy apartment. Had Frequisha's mama taught her the importance of admiring cleanliness as a virtue, the months-old crust would have been a non-issue. Perhaps then, Fred Quisha would have not been staring down the Critter family peacefully, pilgriming along the hallway's dusty white cracking baseboard. I swear to God, these motherfucking kids keeping my house nasty as shit. They getting on my last damn nerves and I got shit to do today. They really gonna make me go up on they motherfucking asses. Fred Quisha gripped under her dry morning blunt infused breath. Fred Quisha, better known as Moo Moo in the streets, positioned herself in the close proximity to the migrant roach family. A bitch was ready to go to war against the Critter enemies invading her living room. Her eyes turned to homicidal slits. A butterfly of anxiety flapped its wings in her growling empty stomach. Fred Quisha knew roaches were hard to motherfucking kill. If she was going to be victorious and offing this sneaky fuck nigga roach and his family, she needed to smite hard so she could crush their organs, killing. Fred Quisha raised her right foot, leaned down, and then pulled off her Walmart black flip-flop. Now armed and dangerous with the $2.99 plastic flip-flop in her hand, she slowly and carefully hovered her weapon of choice over Daddy Roach Sr. His long antennas wavered side to side, unaware of Fred Quisha's looming death plot. Raised in Chicago's notorious Cabrini Green housing project high-rises till the age of 20, Fred Quisha had no trace of fear for roaches in her body, no fear of white mice, no fear of daddy long-legged spiders, not even a trace of fear for Norwegian brown rats, once a major problem in Chicago's slums. Ducking and dodging at the sound of rapid gunfire was the most valuable tool any young nigga growing up in Chicago's fucked up and ultra-violent housing projects had to learn quickly. And then the next valuable housing project survival skill young niggas had to acquire was the art of killing roaches. Fear of stray bullets aside, any child, regardless of socioeconomic status, starts off with an innate fear of insects, bugs, and other creepy, monstrous creatures. Nonetheless, young project niggas are taught to cultivate Japanese samurai warrior-like fearlessness when it comes to living with roaches. Why? There's a 99% chance that these kids are going to be roommates with bugs until the day they live their the day they leave their piss-smelling public housing residencies. Therefore, from a tender young age, young Cabrini kids got initiated into a gang of hardened roach murderers, learning how to gangbang on those motherfuckers when they encroach their set living room, bedroom, kitchen. So, with all that being said, you already know a ghetto bitch like Fred Quisha was a certified roach hitter. Concentrate, bitch. You got it. Fred Quisha thought to herself. Kill these fuck niggas. Smack! Daddy Roach Sr. went on with the Lord. The front of his obituary read, Homegoing celebration for the late Daddy Roach Sr. Sunrise, May 28th. Sunset, June 2018. I'm tripping. Sunrise, May 2018. Sunset, June 2018. Reverend Dr. Lucius Roachson III presiding. Mama Roach, shocked and grieving, tried to flee for cover. Her 3 kids trailed her, but this lethal Fred Quisha hoe obviously wasn't going to let them get away. They had to motherfucking die too, and be buried next to their daddy. Where the fuck y'all think y'all going, huh? Fred Quisha shrieked with retribution colored in her vicious words. Smack! 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 Gruesome genocidal sight. An entire family wiped out, but this was just the beginning of a growing problem. Daddy Roach Sr. had 1,861 brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, uncles, aunts, and other relatives lurking in the cut, ready to get that pizza crust and other discarded trash scattered throughout the cluttered and disgusting apartment. An unclouded Saturday morning, the first weekend in June, Chicago's Southside, the neighborhood, the infamous Inglewood, a 10-unit apartment building owned by Mr. Nathaniel Nate Garrison, a retired 67-year-old postal worker, stood on the corner of 63rd Street and Halsted Avenue. 12 years ago, after giving the United States Postal Service 30 hard, sweaty years of career service, the Chi-Town Bronzeville native decided to dab into real estate, per the advice of his younger brother Louis. The younger brother had owned some low-income rental properties throughout the predominantly black south and west sides of the city, and big bro Nate wanted to get a slice of the apparently rich and decadent rental property income pie. Nate was hesitant at first given. He was more fiscally conservative sibling and didn't want to fuck up his retirement coins. Nate discovered now for nearly 10 years, father of our kids and grandfather to 9, eventually caved in and gave rental property investing a shot. Flash forward a decade and 2 years later, it turns out that buying an apartment building in the heart of the gradually depopulated Inglewood ghetto and filling it with Section 8 vouchers recipients was a guaranteed government-subsidized gold mine. Good-ass passive income that diversified his diversive retirement funds. Nate's $65,657 yearly pension, untapped 401k, $1,300 monthly Social Security check, and rental property income afforded him the opportunity to take his quarterly trips to the Dominican Republic. There, he sipped on margaritas and dined on young chocolate prostitute pussy he'd often procure from Punta Cana's white sand beaches. His penchant for foreign coochie explained his lack of addressing the growing issues plaguing the apartment building that housed roughly 23 tenants. Nate was very hands-off when it came to his property management, oftentimes paying Glenn, his functional crackhead ex-brother-in-law, to do spotty, erratic building maintenance. The decay of ownership developed Nate into a prototypical Chicago slumlord. This is the exact reason on why this beautiful and sunny Saturday morning, Miss a tenant who had been in the building now for some 3 years was manifestly heated, and not by the sun, but by the sight of the Roach family she just massacred with no remorse. This was a problem from time to time. She tried to get Mr. Garrison to fix. She contacted him every so often through email or phone call. Some days later, toothless crackhead Glenn would arrive, chit-chat, spray the house, lay out some traps, and then take off, not to be seen or heard from for months. Nonetheless, at the end of the day, the former Cabrini Green resident just grew immune to the infestation. Roaches were just roaches, a minor nuisance really, not really a problem. She felt compelled to bitch and complain to the city of Chicago's housing authority in a letter or phone call. Crazy thing was, CHA had a dedicated hotline she could have easily dialed to address the pest issue. Even crazier, Fred Quisha was a Section 8 voucher holder, and these types of issues would get any landlord in trouble Big motherfucking time. So much so Nate's despondent slumlord ass could end up getting banned from the Section 8 program and could face serious fines. And not just fines from the federal government, but even the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago. However, the unemployed and welfare system abusing Fred Quisha didn't want to rock the boat and snitch on Mr. Garrison. Why? She was constantly late paying her percentage off that Section 8 didn't cover to Mr. Garrison. Nevertheless, unlike other landlords, she didn't give a fuck, so long as he was getting that steady check from the government. Rather than clean up the crust roaches slimed onto the bottom of the wall and baseboard, the uneasy and rushed single mother of 3 furiously made her way back into the kitchen in search of her half-smoked peach-flavored Philly blunt. Fred Quisha picked the blunt up off one of her dirty kitchen countertops and wedged it in between her crusty, plump purple lips. She whisked out a lighter from her left pocket and lit the blunt. She took 3 long puffs, exhaled, waited a few moments to let the weed calm her jittery nerves. The THC high overtook her portly body. Fred Quisha then opened the palm of her left hand and then hawked up the biggest ball of gooey, frothy spit into her palm. She put the lit end of the blunt out into the vicious pool of saliva and then stuffed it into her pocket for later night. Nasty bitch. Her breath bit a tart. Fred Quisha now needed the refreshing taste of menthol in her mouth. Why she didn't just go brush her teeth instead? Well, she was gonna handle that later when she went to go take a shower. The veteran roach assassin rummaged through a drawer near the same filthy crowded countertop and pulled out her pack of already opened Newports. Fuck! She forgot she was already on her last square. Then she quickly remembered she had a partly smoked cigarette resting in an ashtray with other butts, and also an almost overflowing mound of ash in the middle. The half-smoked square was cooling the fuck out like it was relaxing in a crowded Carnival Cruise jacuzzi. Fred Quisha, slowly getting angry again, dashed into the semi-smoky living room and hastily located the ashtray sitting on top of a brown coffee table. Once Miss Pierce spotted the cigarette she smoked last night, she leaned down, pulled it out of the crowded ashtray, and then slapped it in between her cracking dark violet lips. She lit it up with the blue Bic lighter in her hand. She took as many quick puffs as she could to finish the cigarette. Once the cig was no longer smokable, she put it out in the ashtray. She blew out a steady stream from her nostrils like a medieval dragon, with a trail of lingering Newport smoke following her. Fred Quisha marched through the dusty, smoky, and dimly lit hallway of her apartment. Her heavy feet thumped out on the filthy beige carpet as another roach ran for its life. Out of Fred Quisha's sight. Lucky motherfucker. He better thank the roach lord. Disregarding the chit-chat and laughs she heard coming from her 2 sons' bedroom, Fred Quisha stormed her way through her youngest child's bedroom. She pulled out her cell phone from her back pocket, glanced down in her hand, and saw 9:43 a.m. splattered across the partly cracked iPhone screen. The phone's neon pink, encrusted with sequins and glitter, evidently didn't do shit to protect the screen from cracking some months ago. She had dropped it at a Hooters out in suburban Lansing while she was on a date with some low-key dope boy. The agitated mother bit her lip. Fred Quisha shook her head out of frustration, of feeling like time wasn't on her side anymore. Grumbling, she slipped the phone back into her back pocket. Waves of infuriation once again swept over her. She was mad as fuck that she just wasted 4 minutes killing some roaches. Without even bothering to knock, she barged right into her daughter's room. Her daughter was sitting on the floor, Indian style, using a couple of off-brand broke crayons to doodle in some cheap dollar store coloring book. The young girl quickly looked up at her obviously angered guardian. The young daughter knew her mother was livid as her body language projected. "Little girl, I'm finna whoop your ass." Fred Quisha, with her eyes now wide and enraged, gawked her young daughter straight into her unassuming juvenile brine doe eyes. Maya, what the fuck is, Maya, what the fuck is you doing? The young girl, Maya, was frozen and silent for a moment before she carefully answered, "Coloring, cuz? I'm done cleaning." Fred Quisha looked around with her yellow face up. Her vicious eyes widened with more irritation as she saw a pair of pink socks on the floor. "You ain't done yet. Your room still look like a mess." Fred Quisha roared and then continued to shout, "Listen, you better hurry up and clean my shit up, little hoe. In 2 seconds, I'm finna smack the fuck out your ugly ass." Fred Quisha then screamed out a list of things she thought Maya still needed to tidy up before she was scheduled to go over in her grandmother's house for the rest of the weekend. "Okay, Maya." Okay, Maya responded once Fred Quisha gave her another 4 chores she needed to complete. Fred Quisha then growled at 6-year-old Maya, "Damn! You know, just like your stupid ass, hardened ass daddy. That's why he locked the fuck up now." And as the mother kept screaming threats of violence towards her now terrified daughter, Maya jumped up from the floor and jump started her cleaning. So that was 15 minutes. I'm gonna end it right there. Y'all could probably hear the alarm going off, but yeah, that was 15 minutes to improve my reading. I'm going to continue doing this to improve my speech because I feel like, let me stop this alarm. I feel like we all need to improve on our speech. So I feel like reading with you all will help my speech get better. So thank you for watching.